they're deciding was not the issue, which I can get behind, to be honest. I feel like Renekton's in an insanely strong spot right now. But what do Ultra Prime want to prioritize in answer to that? They've taken away Uzi's Xayah. It does mean the Neeko is wide open. And instantly that's going to be locked in. And Ning gets the Kha'Zix as well.
I mean, red side Neeko is quite illegal in patch 13.12. We all know that you shouldn't be giving over this champion in the first banning phase. But of course, the Nocturne and the Vi both taken off. Also, the Varus, a very direct ban towards Doggo. But I feel like Neeko is quite literally a better version of Annie, and I'm expecting Ultra Prime to have the same game plan going into this one. But the Shiv, I mean, I wouldn't say Shiv LeBlanc straight away. Definitely another option that FoFo can default to. But depending on his build, I mean, I do like this champion for both Jiejie and FoFo. It does look a lot better compared to game 1.
Yeah, I have to say, I am curious to watch FoFo and Forge go at it here with the Neeko versus LeBlanc matchup. I want to see how FoFo approaches it. Like you say, does he go for the shift build? Does he go... We've seen things like Hail of Blades from LeBlanc across the course of this split, and to try and bully lane a little bit harder. Or whether he just goes for the standard AP build to go with that electrocute and try and find good trades. Aphelios banned away from Uzi here. The Xayah's gone as well. It feels like Ultra Prime trying to ban away any of the weak side AD carries, perhaps going to be focusing trying to get underneath that tower.
I would love to see a Kai'Sa just double Shiv for EDG, and how do you out macro that? Because you have so much lane control when it comes to those first item spikes. We'll have to wait and see, because it is going to be FoFo's first game in the summer on this LeBlanc, so we don't know what type of LeBlanc he is going to give us. Something that does leave a very significant impression in my mind was Scout's LeBlanc. While Shiv was meta, he decided to go the AP build anyways. I believe it was the game up against BLG where he was able to like clutch, instantly one-shot someone, and then do a double ultimate R onto the entire roster of BLG and pretty much come back into that game. But of course, Bin on the Renekton, I think it's in the highlight reels that we have in LPL, managed to close the deal. But at the end, game 2 draft, we still have a lot of bottom laners up and available. I mean, the Rakan is something that SwordArt can deny away from Meiko, but Meiko can pick the Braum to deny the amount of engage that Ultra Prime have so far.
See what he's going to go for. The Ashe going to be banned away again. We've yet to see it locked in, but we've seen a couple of bans now. I mean, I've been abusing the Triforce Ashe in solo queue, and it is really, really strong. I'm kind of surprised we've not seen more presence of it, to be honest, in the LPL. But Draven is a champion that we've seen a reasonable amount of presence on. And look, we said that they've been banning away the weak side AD carries and locking in that for Doggo. No, in fact, going for the Kai'Sa instead. So a bit more denial towards Uzi, because remember, that is a signature Uzi pick.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what EDG's approach is as a response to the Kai'Sa. Do you fight fire with something even more aggressive? Like you said, the Lucian and Nami is still up and available. I wouldn't like that, because I believe Lucian did receive a slight nerf in terms of his damage, and Nami just is a bit of a goofy champion right now. So Ezreal is going to get locked in for Uzi in this game 2 launch. I'm excited.
Okay, this is exciting because it's Uzi's Ezreal. I will just say, Kai'Sa could solo kill Ezreal. As soon as you hit level 6, you hit a W, and Ezreal doesn't have a minion wave there. Like, you're 100-0 the guy. Like, this is not actually a fun matchup for Ezreal at all. You can win it, obviously, earlier on, and you know, you could also just not get hit by the W and not be isolated without a minion wave. But Kai'Sa generally pretty good into the Ezreal matchup, so you do have to be a little worried for the laning phase here for Uzi. But later on, I mean, Uzi's team fighting Ezreal is something else.
Yeah, you do have that extra bit of mobility to get away from Ultra Prime's engages. I mean, SwordArt, if you want to lock that in, buddy, be more than happy. You force the E out of the Ezreal and you instantly dunk him with your ultimate. No, it's just a little bit of a cheeky hover with the Rel getting locked in as the final counter to this Alistar. But like you said, I'm gonna be kind of surprised if Uzi doesn't take the exhaust into this game. There's so much engage from the side of Ultra Prime, especially like you said, the 1v1 matchup for the AD carry is going to be so potent for Uzi to survive. But a very different approach into game 2 from the side of EDG. FoFo playing the LeBlanc. Ezreal can also give it the shiv, so it is going to potentially be that for this game 2. But Jiejie, I like the Sejuani on him. He has a lot of CC, and he's going to be relatively strong from early to mid.
See how this one's going to go down. A very different composition, like you say. EDG clearly willing to try something different. And Ultra Prime just banning away the comfort, banning away the champions that they know EDG would like to be playing, like the Aphelios, like the Xayah. Let's see if it's enough. Let's see if they can shut down Uzi's Ezreal. Because honestly, Ezreal is not in that bad of a spot right now. Like, if you play it a bit in solo queue, it certainly does a lot of damage in the current state of the game. We'll see what build he's going to go for. A lot of questions coming into this one for EDG, as they are 1-0 down. And Ultra Prime, they need this win. Remember what we mentioned before, still a lot of top teams in their schedule, so every win is going to count when it comes to the race for playoffs. Whereas EDG, they're here for redemption.
Looking to stall this series out to a 1-1, but my concern for this EDG draft is that we had the Ezreal and the LeBlanc getting locked in as the main carries of this game too, but you have to consider that these two champions have relatively low damage depending on how Uzi's going to be able to land those Qs in these fights. It's not consistent damage like a Kraken Slayer on the Aphelios or something like that, so EDG execution once again is going to be key. As FoFo, he is going to go the Shiv build.
He certainly is. That longsword first means you can get back early on, get the Kira shard. You get first blood when you're playing the longsword start. You can literally just recall and get Kira shard. Right? Is it Kira chase? I'm never sure.
I just call it orange carrot.
The little lightning dagger. You can grab it very early on. It's such a powerful laning item if you use that auto onto your lane opponent. Get the bonus zap on it. It's going for the fleet footwork as well, rather than going for the Hail of Blades.
Yeah, a bit of sustain when it comes to the laning phase, and just a bit of extra damage when you do W in and look for that single order poke onto the enemy team. But we saw a very easy way to counter this kind of tech coming into the competitive scene. It's that, I believe it was the JDG series up against Top Esports where Rookie blinded the LeBlanc, and Kanavi pretty much lived in the LeBlanc's lane, consistently diving, consistently denying gold from this LeBlanc to the point where she wasn't able to find that shiv very early on the game, and the champion kind of fell flat. So I feel like this LeBlanc champion, once again, does need to look for that early game kind of lead that EDG need to secure.
It's going to be a shiv race across the map, because Doggo can go for the shiv, Uzi can go for the shiv, FoFo can go for the shiv. I mean, Ning can go for the shiv. Jiejie, Meiko,
Oh, hell nah, Ning's not gonna go for the shiv. Don't say that.
SwordArt getting a little knockback onto Meiko, but the level 2 hit, and now Ultra Prime hit 2 as well. But SwordArt's already going to go down. His first blood for EDG's bottom lane. SwordArt, what happened?
I think they caught SwordArt from a bit of a surprise with the flash available as well. No spells used at all from the bottom lane of Ultra Prime, and that's going to be first blood going to Uzi on this Ezreal. I think SwordArt was trying to find the level 2 to match this Alistar and Ezreal, but by then Meiko's already kind of engaged in. He was in a bit of an awkward state where he kind of just died.
Yeah, that is that's really not good, honestly, from SwordArt. Kind of just walks forward here, doesn't realize Doggo's backing away. They're not on the same page, and level 2 hit for EDG.
Yeah, I mean, SwordArt also goes in, so his W is on a bit of a cooldown, but that one minion difference, Doggo wasn't able to secure that third melee minion from dying, and EDG taking advantage of this great start for the bottom lane, and does set this static Shiv Kai'Sa a little bit behind.
Yeah, that is really rough for Doggo. Really rough indeed, as he's going to be gutted with the way that this lane has started. Uzi's Ezreal. It's a classic. It's back. And it's looking good to start us off with a kill very early on into the game. Ning looking for the Rift Scuttler. Meiko could be in trouble here, but no. Just bops Ning away. Despite the 2-level advantage Ning has, he can't get close to the cow.
It's stressing me out to think again that Meiko is once again being by himself in the jungle while Jiejie is securing that top scuttle. I mean, I kind of get the idea of him trying to spot out where Ning is as he trades Scuttle for Scuttle, but he wasn't too careful. Perhaps a flash burn out this Alistar, but like you said, the deep vision from Ultra Prime into the bottom side jungle is going to be key, as they're going to be able to kind of predict where Jiejie is pathing.
Uzi positioning to try and get some poke off during this lane, as Meiko's actually going to go in on this one. Tier picked up for Uzi, and typically with the Ezreal lanes, you know, yes, he got that kill early on, but he has to buy a tier, so you don't necessarily get that instant power spike when you're playing the Ezreal. It does take a little bit longer to come online, because you do have to... Oh no, FoFo. It's the cannon. Probably shouldn't have pointed that out, but it happens. It's like, it's instinct, isn't it? I don't know what it is, but when you're watching League and someone misses a cannon, it's all I can think about.
I mean, fair enough. Cannon is the most important element of League of Legends. I don't really care about anything else, but yeah, something really interesting about Ezreal right now is that even if you do go the Shiv, we have seen a couple of mid Ezreals being played in solo queue. I think it's Korean solo queue, and they just full send it on AP, and they play for that static Shiv spike. But this game, Uzi gonna go for the Mana Immune. I don't think he's gonna go Gwynsus or Dark Harvester, so should be relatively standard. But we'll have to wait and see.
It's Night Harvester, not Dark Harvester. That's the rune.
Oh.
I always get those two mixed up as well. It's there's only one hardest allowed, and that's Fiddlesticks, okay? Yeah, the AP Ezreal build, honestly, as well, it's literally the same build as LeBlanc, where you go for the Shiv, you go for the Night Harvester, you go for Lich Bane, and it's kind of not far off the classic AP Ezreal build, honestly, where Lich Bane really is the crux of the build, but using that Shiv to find the poke. Uzi gonna have his E available, so SwordArt really can't make much happen there. We'll just take a bit of damage.
I'm gonna be real, I'm pretty surprised that SwordArt has decided to lean towards the Rel as that final pick to round off Ultra Prime's draft. I feel like the Bard would have made a little bit more sense. I know Bard isn't often seen in competitive play, but it is a traditional counter to Ezreal because you force the Ezreal E from pressing your own Q, and then you follow it up with your ultimate, and you are able to kind of immobilize this AD carry who has 2 free dashes pretty much. But it is going to be about how Ultra Prime going to play around that vision and how Forge and SwordArt can stack those wombo combos together.
I will say SwordArt decent on the Bard as well. Like, his peak was 2020, back when that Bard was kind of meta for a little while. Lumao being the biggest proponent of it, but SwordArt had a fair few games from my memory on the pick as well. But not going to be the pick for today, as Meiko actually going underneath the tower here. Takes a shot, and not a great trade for EDG.
Does take a tower shot as well, so it's going to be pretty hard for EDG to look for a rigging. But Jiejie is level 6, so they can potentially pressure this side. But Ning has already set up the vision. I believe he didn't get the Scuttle Crab, but a lot of wards placed down for Ultra Prime to rotate first. And especially when you consider that FoFo isn't able to get that static shift just quite yet. I think the Nico does find wave priority when it comes to the early levels before that first item spike.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just mash your abilities onto the wave. Nico clears wave so fast. It's horrendous to try and play against Ning. Going to evolve his claws here. And suddenly this Karzik starts to come online. You can see this Rate Dirk already in pocket there.
Oh my god. Munch, there's a 30 CS difference in this top lane in an isolated 1v1 matchup. That's pretty impressive considering how Ala...
Yeah, what the hell?
Wasn't a great start for the game 1, but obviously the Renekton is going to be able to find that early advantage up against Cassante. A bit of a lane bully, as he is able to kind of stack up that Conqueror and look for consistent trades, but Ultra Prime giving up this Rift Herald. They're not going to be able to find anything on the other side of the map, but Ning more than happy to kind of just keep farming on this Kha'Zix.
Level 6 just hit for Doggo as well. Big spike on the Kai'Sa. If SwordArt could find a combo... I mean, the thing is, Ezreal, very difficult to lock down individually, but Meiko isn't. And that's the thing. Once Alistar comes in, if he uses the Rel ultimate, kind of pull him in, combo on top of him, can still be taken down. He's tanky, but he's not invincible. We'll see if Ning decides to move into this lane at all. Ning's been very quiet so far in this one. A much slower early game from Ultra Prime.
I think we're going to look for a 1v1 in the top side. The Q3 hits. It isn't going to result into anything, but I would love to see some action happening towards this bottom side. We have all the ultimates coming online. SwordArt is still level 5. though, so have to wait and see. But no cleanse available for both AD carries, and Ning's in the bush.
I don't think he was spotted. There were no pings on him when he went past that control ward, so I think he just about got past without being seen. He's made it into Tribrush. What can he get away with? Because Jiejie is moving over as well. Doggo has his killer instinct. But Jiejie not spotted yet. Doggo's the target instead. Has to use the killer instinct just to try and escape. Uzi now jumped on as he uses his E. Still has the flash available and has to be used. Now Ning, the target is Jiejie. Enters the play. Flash comes out, but Meiko with the double knockup. Pulverizes Ultra Prime. SwordArt, no flash, but I don't think there's any CC left. But FoFo behind enemy lines here. He'll find the combo, and it's a kill for Uzi.
Beautiful follow-up from Meiko. It's gonna hit, but it's not going to be enough damage for that third kill into EDG's pockets. But Ultra Prime, they are looking a little bit all over the place with that bottom lane 3v3. SwordArt missed everything.
Yeah, a bit of a rough one for SwordArt, but a huge play for the side of EDG. Uzi on his Ezreal, 2-0-1 here. He's feeling fantastic. And I mean, what more of a start could you really ask for EDG?
Yeah, as you see, EDG, they catch Doggo by himself as Jiejie was wrapping around, but such chunk onto this Kai'Sa just meant that I don't even want to comment on this. I mean, SwordArt was trying to get his pockets onto Uzi. Uzi didn't have the E, had the flash although, but this flash Q out of Meiko did make the difference as it lands onto both Ning and Doggo. And of course, 2 for 0. FoFo was also around here, a bit late to the play. I think it would have been a 3 for 0 if FoFo was a bit early, but still great start for this bottom lane. And Ezreal, I mean, if you get ahead early enough, the Kai'Sa can't solo you, right?
I mean, yeah, literally. She's not going to win if she doesn't outdamage you. Ezreal certainly can do a lot of single target damage. He's going for the Triforce, which, you know, it's quite an expensive build, but my god, do you hit hard. And it's so good for team fighting. If you can weave the autos in, Triforce is an insanely strong item, and if there's one Ezreal I trust to be able to weave those autos in, it's Uzi.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of items coming online for the side of EDG. The Sunfire and the Static Shift for both the mid and jungle. Meiko looking for the flank.
Double pulverize.
Oh, it missed!
Bit of damage onto Doggo. And not actually going to be able to find it, though. Now Jiejie coming in. It's a snipe for Uzi. It's even more onto Uzi's Ezreal. It's just too good for EDG.
Ning, close your eyes. Don't look towards his bottom side because Doggo and SwordArt respawn. And unfortunately, another 2 kills going over to EDG, looking for that 4th play as well now. I mean, 4-0. What else can you ask for as this Ezreal?
This is absolutely insane from EDG. We said we wanted a better performance, and well, we've certainly found it. Turns out you just got to put Uzi on a pick that he's played for years and years and let him take over the game, play for him. Uzi's so far ahead at this point. Now, where has this EDG been all split? If they can do this now, why couldn't they do this before?
Yeah, and you also have to consider the fact that that flank from Meiko getting his CC onto the bottom lane duo, it was Uzi not hitting his ultimate either, so that's a huge chunk of damage lacking, and they were still able to finish off the bottom lane of Ultra Prime cleanly as they secured the second dragon as well before that. But Kai'Sa and Rel can't be this far behind. You always expect Kai'Sa to be the ones being the initiative, but I feel like Ning obviously still consistently trying to farm, but not finding that lead on the other side of the map.
I gotta say, I feel like Uzi's had a stern talking to the rest of the team during the break between these games and said, look, I know we can get Renekton for Ala, but it doesn't matter. That's not how you win right now. Play for me, play for the bottom lane. Jiejie has been on the bottom side of the map for pretty much the majority of this game, and it's made such a difference. If you remember, the plays towards the top side in the previous game, that's how Ning got a massive lead to kick himself off. And they have that same pair of carries up top for Ultra Prime. So Jiejie changing tact, sticking around the bottom side, and once again they go for yet another dive. Doggo the target here, but the ult goes wide from Jiejie. Meiko can tank for so long, it's actually insane. 2 more for Uzi, and whoever's TP that was got cancelled.
Yeah, Forge's TP got cancelled in the mid lane by FoFo. Solo kill, perhaps in this top side by Alua.
Or by Hery, depending how it goes. Both gonna back away in the end.
It is going to just die down, but this is the classic situation of your bottom lane. Just play safe, lol. I'm working towards that Duskblade on the Kha'Zix, but the bottom lane of Ultra Prime really taking a smacking when it comes to how Jiejie is just living in this bottom side. You see Meiko, this is the initial flank onto the bottom lane carry of Ultra Prime and getting that double CC onto both the Kai'Sa and Rel. Unfortunately, Uzi ult not gonna land, but the Rift Herald dropped 3 plates into Ezreal's pockets and no reassurance whatsoever from the side of Ultra Prime.
I mean, Uzi's just so fed in this one. And now the follow-up play, Meiko on this Alistair. I mean, I feel like EDG have just gone to classics here. They've gone, look, whatever we're doing is not working. Let's go to classic picks like Jiejie on the Sejuani. This is one of the picks he's played most in his career. Uzi's Ezreal. Meiko on Alistair. It's not been meta for a while, but certainly something Meiko's got plenty of games on. Ning with an attempt onto Ala here, but EDG, this is a bit more like it. It's Uzi going to ult the wave in the bottom lane to make sure Ala can just clear this one up and protect that tower.
We talked about setting the Kai'Sa behind from her first item spike with the Shiv in Doggo's pockets now, but looking on the other side, Uzi has both the Manamune and the Triforce at 15 minutes.
Do you know...
Jiejie looking for more.
Oh, wow. That was a kind of cool animation there. Got frozen in midair. As, oh no, here we go. Forge behind enemy lines, finds the double pop blossom. That's all he'll find. Ala in with the dominance. Dominus, sorry. As Drake's coming up in 35 seconds. And EDG trying to fight for mid prio. It's Uzi going for the kill onto Doggo. That matchup's meant to go the other way around.
And Uzi defies the expectations of this ADC matchup in Game 2. Getting that kill onto Doggo does allow them to work even further to prioritize this third dragon now. Soul point for EDG, and this is the EDG that everyone has been expecting going into Week 5. And it's great to see them kind of reviving back from the dead from that Game 1 performance. And it really is through Uzi on the 7-0 Ezreal.
I mean, this is a monumental performance from Uzi, but from the whole team playing around Uzi. But the thing is, this composition, in theory, should be worse early on than the composition they had in the previous game. And yet their early game is so much better this time around.
I mean, Doggo is so overstepped here in the mid lane, trying to clear out the wave, using every single spell to wave clear as Uzi catches this and kind of calls his bluff. Pretty much his ease into Kai'Sa's face, while Meiko obviously follows up with a really nice combo. But Ultra Prime, they're kind of slowly running out of choices here. Ning on the Kha'Zix. I mean, you can eventually get to the 3-item stage, but I feel like you don't offer as much compared to the Sejuani in Game 2.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, Jiejie's already got a Mythic plus a Sunfire Cape. He's doing all right. And Uzi has now stacked his Mura mana at 17 minutes into the game. He's got a 700 gold bounty. What more is there to say? This is vintage Uzi Ezreal. I'm absolutely loving witnessing this. This is the first time he's playing it since coming back. And Ultra Prime asked for this. They banned him out. They made him play the Ezreal. They brought this on themselves.
Yeah, and questions go back to ban pick phase, because you have to look at how this Rel is going to be able to get her hands onto the enemy team, but everyone on EDG has a dash. LeBlanc has her W, Ezreal has the arcane shift. It's going to be really hard to be in SwordArt shoes trying to find that perfect force and allow Forge, of course, to follow up with that Blossom as well. But I don't know, because you kind of look at the map say right now, you have a 1-3-1 happening for the side of EDG, while Ultra Prime, they're not pulling the trigger anywhere.
Uzi pushes the wave in mid now, rotates to try and make a play. SwordArt and Hery on the retreat. They move down to the bottom side, but Jiejie wants this one. Won't commit the ultimate for now, but Ala's here and Meiko goes in. There are the ultimates stacked on top of SwordArt. Hery a bit tankier than SwordArt was as Uzi actually gets caught by the Q3 and the Pop Blossom's in as well. It's huge! What a play from Ultra Prime! They find the carry and Doggo making it happen with the ultimate as well. Forge with the biggest Pop Blossom of his career as Hery jumps on forward. The Q3 to find a bit more. And finally, Ultra Prime come online.
I mean, this is why you don't give Nico over to red side. Forge coming in as that caster creep, catches EDG off guard, flashes in onto 3 people, and allows Doggo to free hit in this team fight. Although not receiving a single kill, that does bring so much gold and tempo back into Ultra Prime's pockets, and it does give the shutdown over to Forge.
Absolutely massive moment for Ultra Prime. And like you say, I thought Doggo was going to sweep up there. I thought he got the shutdown onto Uzi. I think it was Forge that did get the gold. So you can see 2 items plus boots there in the mid lane for Forge. So still a good target to have that gold on. But it looked so good for EDG to start with.
Yeah, Meiko had a really good cancel onto SwordArt's dash, and that is going to be the initial pick. Even the Sejuani ult committed as well, but look at Forge turning into a minion as the Q3 hits onto Uzi. I don't think this matters too much. Yeah, he did dash into it, but Forge once again coming in with the flash ultimate as that follow-up after the Q3 hit from the Cassante really sealed the deal as FoFo trying to make something happen in the mid lane. Was it enough?
Baron attempt now. SwordArt loses half of his health, chained up, and Meiko buying space as True Shot Barrage mostly just going to hit the shield. Meiko trying to bully them away. Ning is over the wall if we're 50-50. This one, Hery the target, locked up and taken down. Baron resets, but look at this, EDG just bullying Ultra Prime out of the play.
We still have the Kazakhs up and available. I'm assuming EDG want to just dance with the idea of this Baron. They want to look for pick after pick. As FoFo is a bit of a nuisance with that static shiv available, but you never want to be finishing this Baron up against Kazakhs, who does have that execution.
Meiko, Forge with the Pop Blossom though to answer it as the root comes out across the team. It doesn't matter. Uzi with a double kill. SwordArt wants Meiko, but he's not going to find it. Flashes for it and flubs it. And FoFo will shock him to death with a static shiv. Ultimate comes out, trying to deny recall, but Doggo gets out with his life. Baron taken at 21 minutes, and EDG, if they could look like this consistently, they'd be a top team again.
I mean, very convincing team fights coming out of the EDG squad, but you see the initial engage onto Hery as he was just isolated. SwordArt so low, but they do focus down on the isolated Cassante in here where Ala and Jiejie just dash over the Baron pit and obviously finish off the front line of Ultra Prime away. But I really like the idea that EDG kind of baited this idea and shut down Ning instantly with the Baron recalls as well, resetting for this final Dragon Soul point for Ultra Prime. Force doesn't have the flash available just quite yet, so don't know how he's going to get his hands onto Uzi.
Another attempt here. Ultra Prime almost 10,000 gold down at this point. And like Ning on a Kha'Zix, this is not the kind of game where you can really function much. You can't do anything. Scries Bloom over. This is all for EDG as Meiko finds engage onto Hery, but they don't commit for the time being. On the front line, though, SwordArt is shredded again. And a great ulti out from Jiejie. Forge trying to find his targets, but Uzi's untouched. No, caught by the root, and suddenly it's chaos, but Doggo alone. Hery takes Meiko over the wall, but finds himself in a 1v1, and Ala now jumping into the play as well. Doggo, can he jump back into this one? Killer Instinct on cooldown. Jiejie's just looking for the Drake. EDG have done it. It's close, but they get themselves the soul.
And EDG get everything on the map. Now Baron and Ocean Soul. Great side lane wave states as well for FoFo and Ala to kind of work off with this Baron. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to do the 1-3-1, but that dragon fight SwordArt got instantly melted, and I really feel like this rel for this game too isn't working.
Yeah, SwordArt is just going to go down again. Jiejie gets the kill this time. Happy to tank the tower. SwordArt is having a tough old game. But hey, if there's one thing you can say for him, he ain't afraid to go in. No matter what happens, he will go in. 1-8 now. As we see attempt number 17 from SwordArt.
I mean, SwordArt had the ultimate as well, but unfortunately, so squishy on this rail, being set very far behind from how the early game went for the bottom side. But the Sejuani ult connects onto Doggo as well, so EDG kind of just playing this team fight really well, but Forge trying his damn hardest to bring Ultra back into this game with that triple E onto the carries, but it wasn't enough. And I feel like this game state now, it's so rough because you don't really have an answer to the side lane push out of the LeBlanc, and it's going to be really hard trying to force in mid lane as well because you realistically want Forge to be the one looking for that engage, but I feel like EDG way too much disengage.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now as well where Uzi, 4 items on the Ezreal, like, this is an absurdly fed carry with an Ocean Soul as Uzi flashes away from the Pop Blossom. Here comes Ning on the back line. I don't know if he has the damage to kill him. Uzi manages to kite it out. That was gorgeous play. Triple kill for Uzi as he looks for more. FoFo stealing the multi-kill, but EDG stealing the crowd here today. What domination in game 2.
16-1 on the Ezreal for Uzi in this game 2, and they're gonna bring this series up against Ultra Prime to game 3, and this is the EDG that we expected, and they're finally showing up, Munch.
Give us more of this, EDG. Forget the bans, just lock in Ezreal anyway. This looked phenomenal. 16-1 and 7 for Uzi, and what a way to make it happen. EDG, I think maybe learning something in this one. Play for Uzi, play for that bottom side, forget top lane. Top lane ain't worth it.
I mean,